Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It is time for another wrestling review. This time, we are covering this past Saturday's NXT Premium Live event of Halloween Havoc. With me, once again, we have the legendary Campo.Reviews right over here. Reviews TV shows, movies, and now wrestling too. But before we get into the review, I just want to get a little housekeeping out of the way. We're close to 250. I can taste it. I want to get to 250 for the end of the year. So please, if you can, if you haven't already, I notice a lot of my viewers that watch the wrestling content are not yet subscribed. Just do me that little favor and just subscribe. I hate begging, but
It's
just
free.
it's free. It doesn't cost you anything, right? Let's get to 250 before the end of the year. So with that out of the way, Campo, welcome back.
Hi, that's me.
That's you. That's you. So let's get right into this Halloween Havoc premium live event. There's a couple things on
Yeah,
this
yeah.
show the company should be embarrassed about.
Yeah. This was a thing.
This was a thing. The matches were good. Some of the other things may not have been.
This is I feel like this is gonna be the most polarizing
Show.
review we've done, period.
Quite possibly. So with that, then let's get right into our opening match, which was Nathan Frazier, Oro Mensa, Wesley, Von Wagner, and Carmelo Hayes, a five-person ladder match for the vacant North American Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, so well, storyline wise, I think it's really stupid that they took the title off Carmelo Hayes to give it to Solo
Solo
Sikoa,
Sokoa, only to give it up.
just to give it back as if it was gonna help boost him somehow, even though nobody in the main roster gives a shit if you ever won an NXT title.
No.
So him winning it bears no relevance except that you made Carmelo Hayes look bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, this match was good.
It was. Yeah. It was a great
I
match.
enjoyed
There were
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
things
good
in it.
spots.
It's spot heavy, but the spots are great. My issue is now after watching how many things we've watched,
Mm-hmm.
I was telling you yesterday, I had a lot of issues dealing with the way the spots are set up. So one wrestler will set everything up for two other wrestlers to do a move.
Yep.
Then that wrestler who does the move on the other guy will set something up for two other wrestlers to do a move. And the winner of each spot sets up the next spot for two completely different people that has nothing to do with themselves.
Yeah.
And I found that so strange. It was like
Weird. It was weird booking.
it was like the producers set it up in a way so that to make sure everything happened, it was like, okay, you're gonna knock this guy out, and while he's out and you have time, you're gonna set up the other people's next spot. And it's like, okay.
It's almost like it was a chain reaction.
Yeah,
But it was, but all in all, though,
it was
wasn't.
actually a good match.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It was
some of the
actually a really
spots
good
were
match.
fantastic.
Yeah. There was that. Was that the one where he did the Spanish fly onto where Fraser did the Spanish fly onto the ladder and like it
There
was.
was a few of spots that were
Mhm.
just fantastic. Like I wish I
Oh,
actually
when Wesley he's riding the ladder down and he lands.
there. Oh my god, I'm trying to think. There was one that was crazy on the outside where the guy set up like a ladder, like a ladder bridge,
Mhm.
and then they went over the rope onto it.
Yeah.
Shit,
That was
like
Mensa. Yeah, it was spot heavy, but it was
this is
good
the thing.
spots.
Did I enjoy the match? Yes. Was it entertaining? Yes. But like for the life of me, I couldn't tell you who did anything because
Yeah.
so much was happening so fast, and it was like my negatives were the setting up the spots
Hmm.
and the fact that every time someone got a spot done to them, they were knocked out cold, but then immediately got up when something had to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also made note of the fact that Von Wagner he felt out of place in that match because he had four like cruiserweight type guys, and then you had this one big monster type of guy.
Well, they dealt with it by letting people team up on him and
Yeah.
like really beat him down to the
But it
point where it
worked.
was
It,
hard
it
for him to
actually
get up.
worked. I
Yeah.
actually enjoyed the way that dynamic worked. They even teased the spot with Robert Stone and Trick Williams each climbing the ladder and trying to tease that they're going to grab it for their guy, or you know what I mean. So it's
But that was a weird one for me. Okay, so who was it? Rob Williams and
Rob Stone, and Trick Williams.
Trick Williams. So Rob Stone gets pushed by Trick Williams
Hmm.
on the ladder over the rope. But
Yeah,
then when we proceed to see what's happening in the ring after the cameras pan away and it comes back, the other guy is on the floor on the other side somehow, but it didn't show us anything
didn't
that
show what
happened.
happened. Yeah,
So to me, it was like this happened a few times, not just in this match. in all of the multi-person matches
Yeah.
where someone just like
Disappears.
not even nothing happened to them, but in the script it said you get knocked out now. So even though no one was there to do it, they just kind of rolled out of the way and let other things happen.
Yeah.
And I found that really strange. It
That
happens
was a
a
little.
few times.
It did. It did. All in all, though, this was a decent match. Wesley wins his first singles championship ever. They made note of that in any promotion. So good on Wesley.
Good for him. It definitely should have been Carmelo Hayes.
I think Carmelo Hayes is poised for a bigger run. I think he's got a run at Braun Breaker next.
I can say I'm fine with that, but at the same time, it shouldn't have happened. All right.
He should have never lost to begin
with.
Lead
us into the next video here as I plug my charger in.
Okay, next we have this really strange horror movie. I thought the match was going to start between Mandy Rose and Alba Fire. It's like it looked like some cheesy horror movie with really bad acting, especially overacting by what's her name? Not Gigi Dolan, the other one there.
Oh, JC Jane.
JC Jane. We have a Chucky appearance again. Like this was a Chucky heavy episode in this one. It made Alba Fire, like the way it was filmed, it looked like a serial killer movie, and Alba was the serial killer. Like she straight up tried to murder Gigi.
So yeah, sorry to all.
Your audio cut out. There you are. You there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry to all the people out there in TV land to see what happens behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But that was like it was so bad.
Yeah.
That it was borderline. No, it wasn't borderline. It was absolutely embarrassing that a company of this size would put on something that belongs on like an indie thing. They've used sound effects for the punches.
Yeah.
Like psh, 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 psh. Like what are you doing? I understand that WWE leans a lot more heavily into the sports entertainment aspect, but this is not even cheese. This is just stupid. This is so stupid. You're treating your fans like idiots, and it made me sick to my stomach to watch.
Was it in the words of Homer Simpson when he goes, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah, you made your fans look bad. You made your wrestlers look bad. The script was bad. The acting was bad, and it's not even filmed like in a building. It's filmed on a fake set where you could see that like everything is like a stupid like set.
Yeah.
what was the point?
I was originally invested in this match, and after watching this, I kind of lost a little interest in the match. That they would do their top female star dirty like that.
It kind of put a bad taste in my mouth for the entire rest of this pay-per-view. Yeah. Because all the other like behind the scenes like interviews and like skits that happen were all just as bad as this.
Yeah, it was, and it didn't even lead. So at one point, she throws Gigi in a freezer. JC Jane gets smacked. She's lying on the ground, and they're taking Mandy away. She's like, "No, don't leave." And then they drive away.
I'm not getting out of this car, okay? Like, okay, congratulations.
Yeah. Then they didn't even continue that story. They went into the next match, which was Apollo Crews against Grayson Waller in a casket match.
Okay, two things. And this is going to happen again. So I won't get into that yet. But for this one, no more casket matches ever. Not ever. It's the stupidest stipulation.
Yep.
It absolutely drained. To me, all of the life out of the room.
We were already at a down after watching that video.
And it was like, okay. And then
just to preface this too, between the end of the first match and the start of the second match, there was at least 35 minutes because they also showed that 20-minute Bianca Belair promo.
Which they showed again later.
Three times.
They showed the same promo 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's like a 10-minute long promo that we've already seen at the last pay-per-view, but you keep showing it to us.
And they showed us there was also the Charlotte Flair one. Yeah. That lasted forever.
Stop showing us unrelated things. If it doesn't have to do with this pay-per-view, don't show it to us.
Don't show it, yeah.
But so in this match, on top of the fact that casket matches suck, they broke the casket immediately.
Yeah.
And then took like 10 minutes to start the match again.
Yeah, to bring out another a reinforced casket this time.
Oh yeah, a bigger one that has more pound. By the way, this is the worst,
announced
the
team.
the worst announcing I've ever heard at any of the pay-per-views we've watched so far. By
Yeah.
far. Booker T is like Jerry Lawler, but like somehow more scary sex like offender. Like the things he was saying was like
Yeah. What he was saying about Roxana Perez
but
in the
it
next
wasn't even like
creepy.
okay, you know how like the Jerry Lawler says things and you're like, okay, that's gross. This was like he said it out of nowhere. It had nothing to do with anything, but you
Yeah.
just felt like you needed to talk about her butt for some reason and
Yeah.
unprompted.
Yeah. It came across as dirty. Yeah.
It
Like,
just like and you know what I mean? And he said a lot of really weird
but
things
that's the
that were
thing.
like
When Jerry Lawler says it, everybody's like, "Oh, he's just a crazy old man. He's just a crazy old
but
man."
he
But
says it in a context of something. And yes, it is
yeah,
gross, but it's like laid out for you to think that he's gross. That's the point.
yeah.
Booker T was just randomly saying this stuff, and you're like, what are you talking
Why
about?
is he talking about Mandy's ass?
But yeah, anyways, it was terrible. Even the
Yeah.
other guy did a really bad job this time, whatever his name
Vic
is.
Joseph, is it Vic?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vic Joseph. You could
But
tell that Wade Barrett was guiding that team.
they didn't have a lot of chemistry together here either.
They're
And I
new.
don't know
They
if you
have been.
noticed
Yeah.
this. Vic's mic kept turning off,
Mm-hmm.
and you could hear him through Booker T's mic.
Yeah.
And then every time it got really loud, Booker T never raised his voice to get louder than the crowd, so you couldn't hear anything he was saying.
Yeah. It's
I'm sorry,
they're
like this is just side noted.
yeah,
like,
yeah. They are a fairly new team, so I'll give them some time to work together. But it was the commentating was not the greatest on this
everything
either.
was just piling up.
Yeah.
And this match didn't help. This was not a very good match.
Yeah. The only thing that looked good was when Apollo Crews sold that stunner that Waller gave him in the ring.
The match got better towards the
Yeah.
end, where I was actually invested in what was
When they
happening
brought out
finally.
after they brought out the new casket. Yes.
But it was kind of too little too late. And I didn't care who won the match by the end of it. Even though I was enjoying where the match was going, when it ended, I was like, okay, I don't care.
I think this was just a way to write Waller off TV. If anybody doesn't know, there's a rumor out there that right now Waller will be joining the Wyatt Six. So I think that's to get him off of TV. That's all.
And it makes sense because he went away in a casket
To reemerge
as like the undead character that he's going to be or whatever.
Yeah. So the less we talk about this match, the better. We move on to. I thought this was a fun match. The Cora Jade against Roxana Perez match.
This is like, see, I feel like this is where we're going to have a lot of opposites. I liked a lot of the idea of this match, but it was like watching two people who had never wrestled before wrestle.
Two amateurs, yeah.
This is the thing. Do they understand situations? They had good spot setups. They kind of they interacted with the weapons nicely and stuff.
There was that cool trash can spot that she did, like where she puts her in and throws her over the ring in the trash can. Like,
but then there's stuff like the table spot where they fell off the top, where the top of the table came off the cover, and you could see that the tables aren't even tables. It's two pads with a table stand in both sides. So, and I noticed it again when in the next match, in the ambulance match or whatever, where they broke the table. They're not even real tables. They're two foam pieces with legs on them.
Yeah, so they can collapse easily.
Well, it's just they break right in half as soon as you hit them.
Yeah,
but there were real tables.
Yeah,
but those specific setup ones were not real tables, and it takes away from me. Everyone complains about how AEW puts the pads underneath the tables. At least they're real tables.
Yeah,
but it was kind of sloppy. In all the great female based matches we've seen in the recent pay-per-views, which you can't deny, this was like a huge step backwards for women's wrestling.
This was almost Liv Morgan against Ronda Rousey.
This was worse than that.
Yeah,
I think at least Ronda Rousey was like an absolute monster.
But see, at least this one I enjoyed it. I was fun. I agree
with the fun aspect, but like picking at the match for what it is, the wrestling was not very good.
Yeah, and then Roxana Perez gets her revenge. She does the pop rock. That looked like it hurt. The pop rocks onto the chairs. That looked like it hurt. But Perez goes over. Perez gets the win. Feud's over.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Also, Cora Jade is a terrible heel.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like weight to this match. They kept talking about all of this. Dude, these guys
Yeah.
were a tag team for like a week.
Yeah. But
Cora Jade turned heel so
But
fast.
the thing is, they don't explain the fact that these two knew each other on the indies. At least Booker T was saying that Roxana Perez worked with him in his organization. At least he was trying to like.
Booker T said a lot of people's like indie names as well. I don't know if you noticed that. Like,
He called her Roxy a few times.
yeah, and he called Shotzi Blackheart instead of just Shotzi because they don't say
Yeah.
her last name anymore.
No. Last names
So
don't exist.
I found that kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, I didn't like this feud because to me it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
The heel turn was so fast that it didn't let anything build. I understand there's a backstory, but nobody knows there's a backstory
Very
except
true.
clearly Booker T.
Booker T, because he booked them in his organization.
Is that Roxanne?
Roxana Perez, yeah,
Roxana
sure.
Perez has a lot more potential in my books.
Yep.
Cora Jade is more ring ready now, but I don't think her ceiling is very high.
She's a mid Carter at
I
best.
think she's gonna be all about gimmicks. She's gonna get herself locked into like these stipulation matches because she's willing to take a beatdown.
Yeah.
But her actual wrestling in ring work is not very
Yeah.
good.
Perez has the higher ceiling on that one. Yeah. Like I said, Perez goes over. This feud probably will continue.
Yeah.
Next, we get into Julius Creed against Damon Kemp in an ambulance match. If Kemp wins, if he beats Creed, his brother is gone from NXT.
So what did you know?
That Creed will win.
Yeah.
The only other thing I was thinking, if Kemp did win, they'd move the Creed brothers to the main roster because there's no tag teams up there.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment too. But I kind of knew they weren't going to win. He wasn't going to lose. I mean,
yeah.
And this is going back to what I was saying before. This is my second thing. No more ambulance matches. This is the dumbest stipulation ever. You expected me to believe that someone slammed the door on a guy's fingers 5 times and he didn't have broken fingers. Yeah, okay. Thanks. And then he whipped a bunch of chairs around that didn't even get close to the guy. What the hell was that about too?
No, I thought the part that I thought was dumb was at the beginning when he's whipping those plastic pumpkins.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I wish I didn't see this match. This was a terrible match.
This was. I wouldn't even call it a match. It was just a fight.
Yeah, and it was like there was barely any skill-based moves involved. It was just a lot of on top of each other fake
And the
punching.
thing is, these two are two collegiate wrestlers that know how to wrestle. They shouldn't be having this. This should have been something like a submission match or a tap out match.
Yes.
Or
I will take an I quit match.
Quit match,
something I don't want. But
just no strap matches.
The constant going back and forth between the ring and the ambulance space was like so frustrating because it's like just stay in the ring or something, or stay at the ambulance. I don't need you to keep walking back and forth.
Yeah. It would have been easier if they tied him to the gurney and just moved him in.
Yeah, there you go. I would have liked that.
But instead they broke the gurney.
Yeah. I mean, there was a few good spots.
Yeah.
But like realistically, I if you never showed me this match, I wouldn't have felt like anything was missing.
Yeah. This is going back to what we were talking about a few weeks ago, how like it's matches for the sake of matches. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Bound for Glory had like there were consequences to them. This felt like there were no consequences.
Okay, so compared to regular WWE, this is very indie. This is very hardcore and like AEW. Your cat?
Yeah.
It's very AEW-ish.
Yeah.
In terms of how they allow them to do like this crazy stuff, because you won't see this on the main roster.
No.
It doesn't feel as like insanely overproduced as the main roster stuff does. But it also feels weird because it's like you're watching WWE and it doesn't flow like WWE does. There's kind of just like this recklessness to the whole match where there's not really an in-ring story. Things are just kind of happening.
Yeah, it's just like I said, matches for the sake of matches.
Yeah.
And next we have the continuation of our favorite horror movie of 2022, the Alpha Fire, Mandy Rose. The thing I did like, I gotta admit, is as the ambulance leaving, you see Mandy's Land Rover pull in. So I thought that was a nice little setup that they had that time
I
that
agree.
day. That was one of the few, and they're both talented, and this wasn't Mandy's strongest showing either.
This is this is maybe worse than the other female match. Nothing really happened. And it went on for so long.
Yeah,
Like I can't stress to you how good the Mandy Rose match was
yeah,
at the last
pay
NXT
per view.
event.
Yeah,
This one was like
hot garbage.
I was like, okay. I was like, you're trying to show me the qualities of the other Alba Fire that
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to think, holy crap, this is a great wrestler, but you didn't. Both of them just kind of did random stuff.
Yeah, it was the what was it? It was the Worlds Collide pay per view where Mandy Rose
Yeah.
faced
But now when I think of it, did the other two girls carry that match maybe?
quite possibly, quite possibly.
Because this was nothing like that.
No, but the thing is though, Alba Fire is talented too.
In a raw skill sense, this match was better than Cora Jade and
Okay.
but in entertainment wise, this was a boring ass match where it didn't make any sense anything was happening. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the fact that we saw it come from like this bad horror movie setup kind of took
Yes.
my interest out of this match too. So maybe I was kind of not invested in this as well.
And I'm not going to lie to you. As soon as Gigi Dolan showed up, I didn't pay attention to anything except for her. And I know that sounds really stupid, but it's like it the way that they position things
Yeah.
in NXT is awkward because it's like they're trying to make you not focus on the match. Like the camera was like at a low angle, only showing us the people on the outside,
Yeah.
and
And
the
and
wrestlers
this
are
type of
wrestling up
finish
here.
is these are the type of finishes I hate the most. Where the other two show up, distract the ref, there's a ref bump, Alba Fire gets the 3 count with no referee, and the crowd's like 4 5, and they keep on counting. And I hate these type of finishes because once you see that, you know what's going to happen. It telegraphs the rest of the match, and you lose. Me personally, I lose interest in that.
Yeah. Also, something I have been having an issue with in WWE, but I only really noticed it in this event. The cuts on the camera are so crazy. How
They're
many cut?
jagged. They are jagged.
Dude. There was one point where it cut so many times, like my head hurt after. I was like,
Yeah,
holy
like it's in the
crap.
ring. It's on the ground. It's at the hard camera. It's in the ring. It's like, and
Like
then there's
just
the
leave me
above
some
camera one.
stable shots. Like
Yeah.
big shout out to New Japan for just really knowing how to frame a scene. Not trying to make it look like you're filming a TV show, but
Yeah.
also this is my other thing. I know I keep segueing away from matches,
But
but
I
like,
digress.
but I digress, Cole. Oh, it's not Cole anymore, but
Tony.
they always go outside of the ring on
Mm-hmm.
the opposite of the hard cam side.
Yeah.
Why do they always do that? Why don't they ever go outside of the ring on the hard cam side, like where what happened with the Mandy Rose match? And all the other
Yeah.
matches, everything takes place on the
On
other
the
side.
opposite side. Yeah. That's very true. And the thing is, too, once they pulled the ref out, the ref should have kicked him out immediately.
Yeah.
Like they should have like been
Like
ejected.
at the last match when they tried to come in and they got told that they had to go
They had to leave. Yeah, this time they let it happen, and it ended up costing Alba Fire the match. And Mandy Rose retains in a stupid finish, but
it's stupid finish and a weird match where the stupid vignette took away all of the weight of what's happening.
I think that stupid vignette took away everything from the show for me. Like it really deflated. Like because by this point, what should have been only a 40-minute show was 2 hours.
No, you could have easily fit all of these matches in an hour and a half.
Yeah. But no yet problem. It was 2.5 hours because they showed all these vignettes. We've seen that damn Bianca Belair promo 3 times. There was that 10-minute Cody promo. There was that 15-minute Charlotte promo.
Then you shoehorned in the dumb tag team thing where you just were like, okay, we got to set this up just so Natasha or whatever her name is,
Nikita
Lyons gets screen time. And it's like, just frig off.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
I'm done.
I know it's so WWE